take you through this topic today. What makes a quality teacher? So today we will discuss what makes a quality teacher. We will get 5 tips for quality teaching and share ideas and inspiration. Now, I know you wear many hats: teacher, caregiver, counselor, nurse, entertainer, you name it. But at the center of it all is your ability to make a difference in the lives of children. So let's get started. What makes a quality teacher? Great news. If you're on here today because you want to be, not necessarily because you were told to be, but rather you're eager to gain tips and suggestions on improvements, then you already possess the most important trait of a quality teacher, and that's the desire to become one. You can't possibly retain information if you don't care to. You can't receive quick tips on any area if you don't first want to be better. And everyone can get better. Even the best of the best always has room to grow. So first, understanding that this is not a session to make you think that you're not good enough whatsoever. It's a session to provide growth no matter what level you're at. When I think about a classroom setting in which I know that there's quality taking place, this is what I observe. Teachers interacting, educating, making children laugh, singing songs with children, enthusiastically reading books. They're organized and prepared for the day. They're playing pretend. They're being silly and having fun. You can't help but walk in the classroom and smile. And there are clear connections and relationships built with their children. That, in a sentence, sums up what I view as a quality teacher. But let's dig in deeper to that. Tip number 1, passion. To be a teacher with passion is to show up each day with a fire in your heart, not just to teach, but to inspire, nurture, and uplift. It means pouring your energy into every activity every day, not because you have to, but because you want to make a difference. And if we can be real for a second, I do know that there's usually a good amount of teachers within a school that are just passing through on their way to their real passion. They're teaching in the meantime while they're going to school for something else or whatever the case may be. But whether you like it or not, while you're teaching, you are making a difference. And it goes either way, good or bad. So we might as well make the most of it while you're here and make a positive difference. Passionate teaching is about seeing potential where others might see problems and lighting the way for children to discover their strengths. A passionate teacher doesn't just introduce a new study and plan lessons to cover that study, but they ignite curiosity while exploring a new study. They build confidence as they intentionally praise and believe in their children, and they leave a lasting imprint on every child they encounter. Be a teacher with patience. For some, patience may come easy. For others, not so much. And that's okay. It doesn't define you, and it is something that you can work on. I saw this really great tip once that when a child is pushing you to the limits and you feel your patience is wearing thin, look at their little hands. You're automatically reminded how small they are, and you can take a step back and provide that patience that they need. A quality teacher is caring, kind, calming when they need to be. Maybe it means slowing down and getting on the level of a child who's struggling to play with friends or unable to handle their emotions when things get tough. Maybe it's making the effort to engage and play with a child who's feeling left out or lonely, singing songs with a child who needs to be uplifted. You are aware of what your children may need, and you're making them feel safe and secure in your care. Other times it may mean being a play partner, being silly and fun and excited, enthusiastic and joyful. When you read those funny books with the children, be in full character. Use props. Make it such an engaging experience that they look forward to read alouds every day. And one last point to mention in this tip is that children thrive on stability, and a teacher's consistent mood creates a safe and predictable environment where they feel secure. When a teacher shows up each day with a steady, calm, and positive energy, it helps children regulate their own emotions and trust the classroom as a reliable space. In contrast, when a teacher's mood constantly shifts, It can create confusion, anxiety, and emotional unpredictability for young children who are still learning how to understand and manage their own feelings. Consistency builds trust, and trust is the foundation of meaningful learning and connection. Tip number 2, facilitate. Parents leave their children their most prized possessions in your care to not only watch, but care for and help them grow and thrive. Now, children enter your classroom and they don't have their parents there to look for anymore. They look at you. They depend on you. And I think we may take that point for granted sometimes. We forget the seriousness of having a child that's not our own looking at us for safety and security, but it's very real. They need you to set them up with a productive and an enriching day. We need to facilitate the day, plan activities, and choose materials that will enhance learning. You know those battery operated toys that you press a button and it makes the robot or the dog dance or bark or walk? They're great for grabbing a child's attention momentarily, but open-ended materials hold it. They stimulate deeper, more meaningful brain development. They support a child's ability to think independently, explore possibilities, and make sense of the world through hands-on discovery. This is why we recommend that your classrooms be full of those materials, organized and accessible in appropriate defined interest centers. And bonus, if you were to set up an activity with those materials and a question or a challenge for them, that's the encouragement they need, and it enhances your level of quality. On the slide here, we have some examples. Can you put the numbers in the right order? Match the object to their beginning sound. Numbered cars to park in the correlating parking spots. The big one in the middle here is so simple to create and really gives, and it really engages the children as they're challenged to line up the marbles on the pattern drawings. We've got, can you make a pattern with a few different challenge questions, color sorting bugs using tweezers, dot painting by code numbers, and lastly, build a city by counting and connecting Legos. The reason I chose these photos for this topic is that they all took some extra effort and thought to stimulate and develop different skills with their children. They would be found in a quality classroom. High quality teachers go the extra mile. What does that look like? Adding captions on their artwork, teaching the scientific method as you set up experiments, pointing to print on the walls during play and developing literacy skills, creating a chart, teaching positional words and using them throughout the day, having a word of the week, using open-ended questions, teaching painting techniques and letting children explore them. These are just random examples, but there's an intentional effort made to do more than just the minimum. Tip number 3, professional. I mentioned earlier how vital your role is in each little life you encounter. With that responsibility comes the need to carry yourselves as true professionals. If you look on the slide here, which classroom setting exudes professionalism? Is it the left or the right? It's clear to see that the right side photos portray a classroom with much intentionality and professionalism. I would be proud to show off my classroom if it were the one on the right side. Are you proud to show off your classrooms? We are not babysitters. We are not daycare workers. We are professional, trained, experienced, high-quality teachers. And having that confidence radiates. It's in your posture, your energy, and how you carry yourself. It's quiet but powerful, and people notice it. Acting like a professional means showing up with integrity, consistency, and a deep sense of purpose. Children and families are counting on it. So maintain a positive attitude, communicate effectively, dress appropriately, and continuously strive to grow in both skill and mindset. When teachers present themselves professionally, it not only earns the respect of families and colleagues, but it also sets a powerful example for the children about how to show up in the world. Professionalism isn't just about appearance, it's about presence, accountability, and pride in the work you're doing. Let's talk about play for a minute. Quality professional early childhood teachers embrace play as they know play means learning. Play is not a break from learning, it is learning. Quality teachers know how to guide play in ways that build language, problem solving, social skills, and creativity. Whether it's in dramatic play, blocks, or science, quality educators know how to turn everyday moments into teachable ones. If you haven't got started working with assessments yet, talk to your director and let them know you're eager to begin. If you use the creative curriculum, the assessment tool is called GOLD. If you use HighScope, it's CORE. Those are the more popular curriculums, but if you're unsure, you can reach out to your director or technical assistant specialist. Assessing children's development and setting goals to improve their skills accordingly is an indication of a high-quality teacher. Set developmentally appropriate expectations that challenge children to grow. The key is scaffolding, offering just the right amount of help to encourage their independence. Tip number, oh, let me see here. Oh, hold on 1 second. Did I forget this one? Okay. Okay, I don't have my notes for this one, so I'm just going to go for it. This is tip number 3, being prepared. I didn't already cover this, right? Because I could have, no, I didn't. So being prepared, this means that you have a lesson prepared before you start the week. You have lessons every day. You have the read alouds that you're planning to read that correlate with your study. You have props for the read alouds. You have transitional activities, games, music and movement activities, and your materials are stocked. You won't have a random Wednesday where your materials are missing or not in the right cubbies that they should be, because you are taking inventory of your classroom and making sure everything is prepped and ready. That's what it means to be prepared and being organized. Oh, it looks like my tips are off. I will fix that in the slide before they go out to you. Did I already cover? No. Okay, so I did 4 before 3. So now let's move on to tip number 5, connect. The fact that this tip is the last one of the 5 does not negate its importance. In fact, it's top of the list in importance to me. Building strong relationships and meaningful connections is at the heart of effective teaching. When teachers take the time to truly connect with each child, learning their interests, emotions, and unique ways of communicating, it creates a foundation of trust and emotional safety. Children are more likely to engage, explore, and take risks when they feel seen and valued. High-quality teachers understand teaching is not just about managing a classroom. That's definitely an important part, but it's more about nurturing a community where every child feels like they belong. And that sense of belonging is where real learning begins. Be a listening ear when a child's trying to communicate to you. Ask them questions, get them to open up, and want to engage in back and forth conversations with you. Show an interest in their home life. Point to those family photos on the wall and ask them about them. Where were you in this picture? Did you have a fun time that day? Share about your home life with them. Tell them the silly things that your dog does. This is how you connect on a deeper level. Create some proud of you tickets that you give out and recognize them for something, anything, even if it's small, and this is how you build their confidence. Be supportive when they're feeling fearful or misunderstood by their peers. In any social conflict, be the one that listens and understands both sides. I've recently started this with my own daughter, so I'll share it on here today. It's called the triangle method, and it's used to encourage children to solve their own problems. There's 3 sides to a triangle, so there's 3 steps to this method. The first is identifying the problem. It looks like you're both upset, you want the same crayon. The second step, is there a solution that could make you both happy? And then you wait. You let them come up with the solution. We've been doing this for over 2 weeks now in my home, and 9 times out of 10, they come up with the solution. And then the third and the last step is you praise them for solving their problem by themselves. I personally love this method as I'm never put in a position to take sides. I'm simply there to understand how they both feel and wait for them to solve the issue. And now after 2 weeks, I see them using the method without me even bringing it up. I used to find myself saying, "Oh, why did you take that from her?" And that question right there would make the child who took something feel misunderstood because in their mind, they had a good reason for taking it. So try that out. It was a little extra tip for the day, but I hope it helps. And I'll also share a little backstory for you today. When I was a teacher, we had a few children every year that had an extra hard time saying goodbye to mom in the morning. That's where, looking back, I built my strongest relationship with the children that lasted to this day. I made it a point to be the person that they felt most comfortable going to when they had to say goodbye to mom. I was gentle, empathetic, would try to make them laugh or distract them with something interesting or silly, but I would never say, "It's fine. You know, mama has to go to work. We do this every day. You're fine. You're okay. Come on, go play with your friends." Because what that does is tell them that they're wrong for feeling how they're feeling, that they should be okay right now. And if they're not, they're wrong. Telling a child they're fine when they don't feel fine is teaching them to suppress their feelings rather than to feel them and learn how to cope with them. I had one little boy that loved the book Llama Llama Misses Mama. So that's what we would read every morning when he had to say goodbye. I had another little girl who just wanted to be held. I would rub her back, get out the crayons, and wait for her to be ready, and we would color together. But I would give them all of my attention because the other children were fine. They were great. They were doing table activities, playing with their friends. But the ones that needed me, I knew they needed me in those moments. And that I know made a difference for their development. Relationship first, always. That's priority. Being a quality teacher means being a learner yourself. Take time to reflect. What worked today? What didn't? What could I have done differently? What can I do different next time? Quality educators are always looking to improve their practice, collaborate with others, and stay open to new ideas and feedback. Being reflective as a preschool teacher is essential because it helps you grow, adapt, and better support the needs of each child in your care. When you take time to think about what went well and what didn't, and why certain behaviors or reactions occurred, you gain insight into your teaching practices. I'll tell you a hard lesson that I had to learn when I was a teacher. I was so excited when I had created one of those red light, yellow light, green light behavior charts. And the children, when they were great listeners, I put them up to the green. When they knocked over a friend's tower or hurt them, yelled at them, they went down to yellow or red. It didn't take me long to realize that what I was doing was really wrong. I was putting on display for the whole class to see the children who were always behaving well up on green and the ones who always had a hard time leaving red. What did that do to their self-esteem? How did that impact their perception of themselves? It's awful. And when I look back now, I cringe that I did that. I realized that those children on red needed positive reinforcement in order to change rather than negative. So take time to reflect with your children. You'll gain insight into their experiences. Every night at dinner in my home, we talk to my kids about their favorite parts of the day, things they loved that they did, and then areas that we want to see change in with all of us, themselves and all of us. One of the most important things I can demonstrate and model for them is the ability to take constructive criticism, receive that feedback, and work on those areas. Reflection encourages you to be more intentional. It's a mind shift from simply reacting in the same way every day to thoughtfully responding, making appropriate and necessary changes for improvement. And last here, I had to throw in some spring ideas for you. I couldn't help myself. But we'll end on this. Being a quality teacher isn't about perfection. It's about the commitment to be the best you can be, the desire to learn more, keep growing, and provide that safe, happy, enriching environment for little learners to thrive in. So that is it